Alright, so I'll be reviewing a Bronze Widow gameplay. I don't think there's a whole lot to actually say on this. The biggest thing, there's multiple reasons why you end up losing. The biggest thing is that you and your team just don't play the objective at all. So first thing, Widow is this is one of Widow's best maps. So this isn't bad. The problem with this area right here is that there's not really a good way to escape. It's difficult to grapple away. It'd be better if you were like playing like right in this area or the same area on the other side, and then you can kind of grapple up top on that ledge and fall back down there. But you don't really want to be caught there because if there's flankers behind, you don't really have access to a health pack, and it's not as easy to escape right there. Also, they're gonna know where you are. Like as soon as they see you peek once, they're gonna be able to see you if you like change sides or whatever. So it's pretty obvious. All right. So first thing you notice here is the fact that they're playing a forward defense with the Bastion and no shields at all. So this should be like this is super good if you're playing Widow. Like they have no flankers, pretty much no way to contest you here. So you go up there, which they have. Honestly, you probably could have just stayed on the low ground and used the cover because of how far they're pushed up. They have the Bastion and the Soldier, which can shoot you and kind of force you back a little bit. But they don't seem to be paying any attention to you. And if you look at that Soldier right there, he's literally just standing still. So you could take your time and get the headshot, really. And that's one of the things in lower ranks is people will just stay still. And if you look at higher level gameplay, like you never see characters just standing still because you're just so easy to hit, and you never know who's looking at you. So yeah, the Bastion without a shield, Bastion is useless. So you get the easy kill on him, which is good. And then you see that Mercy going in for the res, right? And you notice they had a Mercy with the Bastion. You should expect the Mercy you should expect that the Mercy might try to res the Bastion, which is really bad with you standing right there. You should be able to get easy headshot on the Mercy while she's resing. But instead, you just like look the other way, and she reses the Bastion for free. So basically, you would have been 2 up in the fight, right? Because you would have got the Bastion and the Mercy. But instead, she completely undid your kill. Alright, you get the kill on Junkrat, which is good. I think you guys are probably about even right now with the Bastion res. And I think a couple of your guys died. One other of their guys died. One thing that's I think is kind of a theme here too is that Mercy. I don't know if you're duoing, if you're like in a duo queue with that Mercy or what, but she's pocketing you like the whole time on this map, which is, I mean, pocketed Widow is really good. Mercy Widow combo is super strong. Just like Mercy pocketing Afara, it gives Mercy an escape. You're an easy res target because you're usually playing closer to the back where they can't. They have to like push really far forward if they want to keep Mercy from resing you. And then obviously like damage boosted Widow does even more burst damage. But I really think she's throughout this map, she is pocketing you to the extent where it is detrimental to your team, because if she was with your team, then your team, there's a lot of times where your team is dying, even though you're hitting shots, your team is just dying, and a big part of that is probably the fact that you only have one healer, and with the rest of the team, and I believe it's a Moira, right? I think it's a Moira. And Moira just isn't great to heal a team by herself. She can heal multiple targets at once, but then she can run out of heals, and then like she can't do anything. So there, you're getting nice picks here. Again, like a lot of the targets are just standing still, making it easier for you to shoot. Your aim is definitely like not not a problem at all. At this rank, it's not going to hold you back. That was a really nice shot on the Mercy. But people are people move in really predictable patterns at this rank and just stand still. So you are going to find it a little bit more. These shots aren't going to come as easy as you rank up. So just keep that in mind. You're getting nice picks. You get looks like you're going to get this point right here. There's not really a reason for you to be standing on point right here. You should be standing. Yeah, this isn't a bad spot for you to be. Like perched up somewhere where you have a really good vantage point of enemies coming onto the point. You really don't want to be on the point as Widow unless you really have to be, because it's really hard for you to be effective there. Yeah, really nice staggers. With those kills, you should be able to take this point, really. And then, see that Mercy is still with you. Get some good kills. Right now, yeah, that should be. You lose your Moira. Look at this. You lose them. You lose your Moira, and your Mercy is pocketing you the whole time. So your team is fighting on point. Your tanks are low health. And they're not getting heals from your Mercy. You're full health. Yeah, the damage boost helps, but your tanks get shredded because they don't have anybody to heal them up. And right now it doesn't matter. Like anything that you kill right now does not matter at all because your team has already lost a fight on point. You're not going to be able to contest the point. You have to wait until your team gets back. It doesn't matter how many enemies you kill. I think you end up getting out of here alive, but what should happen is you should have either died with the rest of your team and not staggered yourself. Yeah, so you do get staggered. There's no reason for you to be fighting right now. You and the Mercy are fighting their whole enemy team. You have to be you're gonna have to group up with all 6 team members in order to take that point. And it's one of the reasons that, particularly in the lower ranks, teams have a lot of trouble capping second point of 2CP because they're really bad at grouping up. They have the problem. Obviously, like you want to be fighting 6 against 6 all the time. Like you want to go in with all 6 of your team, to fight all 6 of their team. 5v6 just doesn't work. The only time you win a 5v6 is if you just get lucky or you just really pop off. And it's even more of a problem on 2CP because their spawn is right here, right? So they have 10 seconds, right? After you kill them, and assuming Mercy doesn't res them, until they can get like right here. 10 seconds, maybe like 11 seconds to get out or 12 seconds to get out of spawn. By the time they get on point, it's like what? Maybe 14 seconds. Just an estimate. Okay, what about you? Your spawn is all the way back there, right? So it's going to take you 10 seconds after you die to spawn, plus, let's see, I don't know, I would guess about 20 seconds without any sort of movement abilities. I'm not sure exactly what it is. So that's roughly, it takes your team probably about 30 seconds or more. Crap. Screwing this up. Anyway, it takes you about 30 seconds to get back from spawn. Well, it takes them, well, we'll call it 15 seconds. So it's about 30 seconds for you, and then about 15 seconds for them, right? So they get back twice as quickly as you do, which means if you go in there with 5 people or 4 people, even if you win the fight, and even if you don't lose anybody, they're going to keep getting people coming back twice as quickly as your guys are coming back from spawn, right? So it's virtually impossible to take this second point without having all of your teammates fighting there at the same time. As soon as you lose a character on the second point without having killed any of their characters, the fight is probably over if your Mercy can't get a res off. Most of the time, that's how it works. Yeah, missing some shots on the Mercy, whatever. You got the Bastion. Bastion's pretty high priority target. You got the Mercy, that's good, and then you should probably... That Bastion is pretty low in the corner, but he's probably healing himself. So this isn't a bad position for you to be, right? You have a really good vantage view of point. Again, you have the Mercy. Looks like she was over with your team probably for a little while. She kind of comes to boost you, but you already lost your Moira again, right? Your Moira dies again. And so this Mercy that's about to fly over to you is your only healer. So again, the Widow pocketing Mercy is a strong combo, but your team needs healers on point. It doesn't matter that you're getting all these picks right now, honestly, because the rest of your team isn't getting healed. And this is really bad. You definitely need to play the objective, but you shouldn't be the one contesting the objective. Your team needs to be contesting the objective, and they're not. Like, for one, like I said, your healer is down and she dies again. And your team really just has to be pushing onto point. So that's not all your fault. They just have to be contesting point. Again, I can't tell if you have everybody here or not, but... So your Mercy ults, your Moira is on point. Your Moira doesn't even look like she's trying to heal, she's just trying to kill things. So that's putting you out even further, because even when your Mercy is healing your teammate, which she's not right now, again, and your Moira is dead, then your team isn't staying alive. And you shouldn't be pushing up this far as Widow. You're not... They're just going to kill you super easy. They should be able to kill you super easy. They do get a nice shot onto the soldier, but that's not where you're effective. And so I talked about why it's important to go in with 6 every time. Playing a character like Widow, especially when your Mercy is pocketing you, makes that even worse. And yeah, you killed 2 of them. Your team killed 2 of them, but they also killed 2 of you. Now you lost 3. That fight's over, and there's nobody else on point. They're gonna come back and respawn. Probably aren't gonna be able to do anything that matters until your team gets back. So yeah, what I mean. So you have Mercy with you right now. Let's wait. I'm gonna wait till your team gets pushed in. So I said, you killed the Junkrat. It got res. Your team is finally there. Orisa ults. So that's an aggressive spot to be. That Hog can hook you. I'd say like the middle of the fight or near the end of the fight. That's not necessarily a bad place to be. But in the early fight, I really don't like you being there because that Hog can hook you. And then the Junkrat could also come after you as well, but obviously they're not doing that. So yeah, so you get 2 picks, you get another one, and see if you look up here. So there's you. So you have 2 up here that are you and your Mercy, which are sticking together up here. And then you have the rest of your team right here. I don't think any of them are died. I think they're all there. And I think there's either 1 or 2 on point, right? I'll just say there's 2 on point from the enemy team. So what should be happening is your team should be pushing in right now, which, again, that's not your fault. You can always go in comms and try to get your team to push on point, try to help out. They should be on point, and then they could kill. You guys could kill Azaria. You'd have 4 on point, and you could start capping. As more of them come in, you've got to think you're fighting. You're only fighting 4 on point. If anybody dies, then that puts you down even further. Widow, you cannot play on point at all. Like like I was saying before, you're not going to be very effective playing on point. So that Mercy that's with you, I think she's queuing with you, so you should at least be able to communicate with her. She should not be pocketing you this hard. So your team finally pushes on point, which is good. But now, see, you have 4 on point, right? Mercy's just literally staying up there pocketing you. Meanwhile, your team is getting low. You do get kills. Your Orisa goes down. Your D.Va is getting low. Your D.Va is going to get out of mech. Now your Moira goes down. And this whole time your Mercy was only pocketing you. Like I said, I mean, yeah, that's your Mercy, it's not you, but...
What's a
maybe,
rough game?
but that's still, like, kind of on you to recognize, like, hey, this person that I'm doing with that is probably just... that is, pocketing me the whole time.
Rough game.
Well, that's nice. It ends up resulting in my team not taking the point.
That's a really rough game.
And then one of the reasons that Widow isn't as good on second point attacks as she is on first point attacks is because it's way more important on the second point to contest the objective, because I don't remember the exact mechanics, but the more people you have fighting on point, the slower the respawns come in. Like, the respawn timer increases, right? So if you have 5 people fighting on point or 6 people fighting on point instead of just like 3 or 4, then their respawn timer will keep increasing as you get kills because you're winning the fight, and that'll help you clutch the point out quicker, and you won't get stalled out like that as easily.
What seems to be the problem?
So the big thing here is that you were definitely popping off, getting a ton of picks, but because of the timing on a lot of the picks and how you were playing with your team, it just doesn't end up mattering. Yep. So this is definitely holdable, especially at this level. You could definitely hold this point. You've tilted their team. So this is... Okay, you're putting a mine out there, that's fine. I don't really like the mine right there because they should instantly see the mine and know that you're playing Widow again. And I can see what you're going for right here, but it's pretty risky. If they decide to play their own Widow and you grapple up there without anything to protect you, then they can get a shot off on you first if they're if they have Widow pre-aiming up there. So you do get a pick. So now their Mercy is probably gonna rest. You definitely do not want to stay up here. Staying up here is terrible. Like, you have that Junkrat pushing into you. As soon as you got that pick, if you were gonna perch up there early on, you should have backed off. That Junkrat ends up not killing you. I think, do they have a diva? Either way, like if they had a diva or anything that could they could push
So
up to
much
you a little bit
about
harder,
getting healed.
uh, you should have died. Yeah, they do have a diva. So like she should not be. She's just like standing back there and face tanking shots. If she was actually going up here and pushing you, you would be dead already, especially with that Junkrat. And your Mercy's, pocketing you. You're putting her in a vulnerable position. See, and then Roadhog flanks your team, and you item wear at orb.
So much about
And then you're complaining about healing, which really like your whole team is your team is focused on the Roadhog, and you shouldn't have been right there. You shouldn't have been back. That was a. You don't really want to be backing off. You can't, or you don't want to be backing off into that area. You want to be getting. This is really the spot where Widow wants to be most of the time. The only exception would be is if they're running a Widow of their own, and you want to kind of like keep them surprised by where you are. Because if they're running a Widow and you don't have a shield, you don't want to be at the same spot every time. But on this map, when they're not running, especially when they're not running a counter Widow, you want to spend the majority of your time up on this high ground right here. So like right now, you have your grapple in 2 seconds. You're almost 200 health. As soon as you get your grapple up, you should be grappling up to that high ground. So it's really ends up being your own fault. You die here.
so much about getting healed. Let's skip it on.
And Mercy comes in and reses you. This isn't a bad position to be with that Roadhog right there. You should be able to get away pretty easy. You don't want to be pushing up anymore though. Especially with that diva underneath you. Even though your team is up, like she could still get you. Like the only way you're able to get these picks is just because their team is playing really badly. And this is really bad. That Roadhog, that Roadhog should have killed you, both you and your Mercy, by himself. And there's a Junkrat there too. Like none of your team is pushed up with you, just you and the Mercy. There's absolutely no reason for you to be here right now. You should be back at the high ground spot further to the back. And see right now, while you're getting picks up front, you and the Mercy are right here. And then the rest of their team that you're not killing are going back to the point, killing your team, and forcing them on point. Meanwhile, at this point, none of what you're doing right here matters. Your Bastion pops off. And then look at that. Your Bastion gets, I think he gets a triple kill, right? Your Bastion gets a triple kill back at point, right? The point is what matters. Yeah, you have to win you have to win the fight to take the point most of the time, right? I mean, you should be focusing on winning the team fight. There's this point back here, and at that time I think there were 4 of them on point, and then like 2 of your guys got picked off, I think, and you and Mercy are over here. So there's only 3 of them back there, I think, and they end up all getting picked off. Even though the Bastion gets a triple kill, there's 1 of them left on point, and you could at least like stall out the point further, and you would be in a position where you could still kill these guys that are going through the choke, right? See, and you should be like, you look up here, right, and there's 2 of them on point right now. Well, let's see. Wait till the Bastion. Okay, so yeah, so the Bastion gets a triple kill. Then Roadhog kills him. Now there's a Roadhog on point by himself, and he caps the point even though you're alive and in the enemy spawn.
Oh, I'm out of position.
Yeah, you finally see. Yeah, you see you're out of position here. Honestly, like this is at this point you're throwing because I don't know where your Mercy went off to. I guess maybe she realized like she should be closer to point. She ends up getting killed. You kill their Mercy, but it doesn't matter because your Mercy is dead. You are nowhere near close to point. It would be better for you to be dead right now because you could respawn and get to the point faster. But instead you just have to walk back. There's no way for you to kill yourself, so you just have to walk back. look, there's 5 of them. Normally, I would say it's like, yeah, if you can get a free pick on the Mercy, go for it. But right now, there are 5 of the enemy team members back on the point, and yeah, you're down 2. Now you're down half your team. Right? Maybe if you were there, you could have shot down the junk tire, and then maybe killed the Junkrat, and then. But you see, you're still right here, and it doesn't matter at all. Look at this. This is what matters. Right? You didn't on defense. You didn't play the objective at all the whole time. You were basically just playing it like a deathmatch game, right?
This is so fucking stupid.
Like, look at. Let's see. As Widow, you don't want to be playing on the objective, but see, like this. Let me see if I can get a better. If you get a better view on it. This high ground spot right here, right? The point is directly underneath it. That first point is, right? So you can kill things that are all the way from that bridge, right? They come through that bridge, which is a super open space. Like, you have that whole time to shoot them, and then if they're on point, contesting point, then you can still be effective and do damage. And not only that, you have another high ground spot that's across from this spot up here. It's like on the other side of the point that you can grapple to if you get in trouble. So yeah, you were really just in positions, especially on defense, you had no business being in, and you were more focused on getting kills that weren't as important than actually fighting the objective. Yeah, I was like gonna look at your stats for this. I'll look at it one more time. Alright, so yeah, you're 50-5. You have 3 golds, which is great. 26 scope critical hits, 42 final blows, yeah. But like half of those kills didn't even matter. If you got half the amount of kills that you got, but you and your team played the objective, you could have won that. And also one thing to take note of is the thing with the way 2CP works. Like I said before, you have to have like all your team go in at once in order to take the second point, because they respawn so much faster than you do. But the easiest time for them to take second point from you is immediately after they've taken the first, especially if they win the fight decisively, because they've just killed all of your team and staggered you, and now they can push on point as your team is respawning, and because they've won the fight, they've built up ultimates. So it's a time where like they've won the fight, they're all going in together. It's the only time you can pretty much guarantee that they'll all be going in together. At this rank at least. And they probably have ultimates, and your team might not have enough time to get into a good position, being that they just all died on point. And obviously worse for you because you didn't die. So yeah, that's the biggest thing is like it doesn't matter how good your aim is if you're not ever worried about the objective, right? You're not playing deathmatch, you're playing an objective-based game. So yeah, that's all I have for you. Let me know if you have any questions.